Let's take a look at the automatic stop box. So I have already examined the overall size, and if you look at it, it's a little bit bigger than 5.76 by 7 inches. So if you think about having to have multiple views of this part, that's already 12.76. So an 11 by 17 piece of paper is probably not going to be big enough. So I've gone ahead and done a 34 by 22, which still may not be big enough, meaning at the end of this drawing, we may have to do a scale that is 1/2 to 1. So just keep that in mind as we're working. Now, which is the front view? Good question. Very complicated part, so we're just going to assume, starting with the left isometric, looking at it from the left, that's going to be our front. So I'm going to start kind of deciphering how this goes. Let's start with the base of the part. The base of the part is approximately 5.76 in width, and the height 0.76, something like that. Sorry, too much on that side. So that was the base, and then the depth of that's going to be roughly 7.76 when we get going. So now, what else can I draw from the left that's kind of easy? So let's start with this thing that's sticking off the end that looks like it's going to attach to something else. It looks like the bearing that we've drawn before. The center of that is 2.88 from the left, and it's 1.62. That dimension is actually over in the other isometric, 1.62 to the center, because that is the hole in the center of that goes all the way through the back side, which is what you're looking at on the other side. So we know that that's going to be the center. I can go ahead and draw a circle using that as my center. That's 1.75 in diameter. So that's the shaft size that's going to go all the way through. The next one that it shows me, I'm not sure I drew it in the right spot. Let's try that one more time. Circle, center, diameter, right there, 1.75. Yeah, I didn't think that looked right. Okay, so the next one is we're going to draw the circle that's going to represent the 2 bolt holes that are there. So there's 2 drilled holes, and we're going to make that a diameter of 3. So we'll draw another circle using the same center, diameter of 3. So along that horizontal, we're going to have circles. They are 2 at size diameter 0.438. The rest of that information is related to the thread sizes. So dash 14, UNC, dash 2B, and then the last part of that is the depth of them. So they're only going to go 0.62 into the part. So just keep that in mind. There's thread node information. We're not drawing threads, so we don't have to worry about that. We just need to know the diameter and the depth. So diameter, draw another one on this side, same size. Then it comes down, there's a tangent piece that's going to come down to another radius. So we're going to draw the circles that represent that radius off the same center, which is 0.76. One on each side. And then we're going to line up and draw tangent lines. Now we're going to do some trimming between those tangent lines to kind of get that surface face to look like it does. And I'm not going to trim the larger circle. I'm going to change how I'm going to create it. Well, I said that, and then that's the one I trimmed, didn't it? I'll take that back. I will show you 2 ways to do this. Okay, so when you look at that part behind this face, that shafted cylinder outer diameter goes all the way to the other end and comes out the other end. So in this cast part, what we're going to end up doing is going to have to show the edge where that keeps going through. So this actually becomes hidden here and on this side. So I'm going to end up having to do a break command And a break allows me to break the line at a point. So I'm going to break it on both of these where they were tangent. And then I'm just going to extend them. I'm only going to extend the top for now because the bottom's a little different. I'm just going to trim it out. And I'm going to change it to a hidden line. And then I'm going to mirror it to the other side since I went ahead and trimmed a minute ago. All right, now what we have is that it's flat across this bottom, but it has a radius everywhere of 0.12. So it has a radius here that comes up, and then a radius where that touches the outer side of the arc. So I'm going to have to go back in and redraw this edge. Again, radius of 0.12 there and there. And then these little segments that we have are going to also be hidden behind it. So that's how that shaft, outer shell, and the base are all connected. It's solid all the way across below this, and this sticks out past the end, and it is then machined off. Okay. From there, the next things we can tell is from this center of the part over 3 inches to the right is going to be the center of the piece that comes up and out from the top. So it's going to come over from here, and then it's going to go up. So where is it in height? It's 4.5 from the bottom. So I'm going to offset the bottom edge. And that's going to give me a location now. I'm going to draw a circle using that as my center, and that hole in the middle has a diameter of 1.25. That's the upper limit, and then a lower limit of 1.247. So I'm drawing at the larger. And then it's got an outer radius of the shape of 1.24. And from that point along the outer edges is where that will come straight down. Again, we are filleting everywhere, so we have a little radius there. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and erase my center lines real quick. Go up to my center layer and add the center lines in. And then I'm going to modify these by grabbing the grips and stretching those out. And I'm going to go ahead and stretch this one all the way over because there's something that you'll notice. That piece and then what's sticking out of the side of this vertical are the same shape, just rotated, but they're on the same center line. So that's how you're going to reference to find that. Go ahead and trim this edge out. It's starting to look a little bit like the end view. Now, the bottom of this comes down and stops at 0.24 from the bottom edge here. Again, we've got all these nice fillets to draw back in. Should be visible on. Okay. Now there's really not a whole lot that's not going to be hidden in this view that I can see other than how far does this stick out past. So if I look at the part in that left isometric, and another thing that will help when you draw these is to check off the dimensions as you've covered them so you know you've got that piece drawn. It's 4.76 back, and at this point right now I can't see how far it's going to stick out. So we're just going to leave that for now. If we wanted to go ahead and draw in the circle, the hole that's going to go through the hidden lines, we can. But I think at this point now we're going to need to go in and save this piece and start projecting for the side view.